everyone, welcome back to my channel, Lady Like May. I am Sherry. For today's video, I am going to share to you my labor and delivery story. But before I continue, let me just say that for this entire video, I will be looking right here because I have a screen and I have to make sure that I'm still recording because this is going to take a while. Video, I will finally share to you my labor and delivery story. If you hear a squeak or a sound or a baby in the background, that's my baby. He's up already, but I'm trying to do this thing. I don't know if I can finish this. I'm crossing my fingers I would. So there will be two parts of this video. First, I will talk about membrane sweeping, and then the second would be my labor and delivery story, and then I will formally introduce to you my baby. What happened was, when I reached, I think, 36 weeks in my pregnancy, I was required to see my doctor every week to check the baby, measure him, do ultrasound, and weekly check. I have a monitor of him. I can see him, don't worry, I just can hear him playing. When I reached, I think, 36 weeks in my pregnancy, I was required to see my doctor every week to check the baby, measure him, do ultrasound, hear his heartbeat, and I think that urine test, and then also my blood pressure. Each week as I progress, I become more anxious to see my baby. I remember doing the laundry for him, preparing his baby clothes, his things. The hospital bag was in fact ready at around 37th week. My doctor was closely monitoring me, asking how I feel every time I see him, if I feel anything weird, and so on and so forth. On my 39th week checkup, this is days before my birthday, I was at the clinic again. I told my doctor I still don't feel anything. I don't feel like I will give birth any minute. So my doctor gave me an advice on how to naturally induce the labor. His number one advice is to have sex. But personally for me, it was kind of like difficult to do that because I was so huge. Research for yourself. There are a lot of things, a lot of online advices to, naturally induce labor. What worked for me was the membrane sweeping. Let me just disclose first that with this pregnancy, my first pregnancy, I pretty much didn't have any serious health issues besides my TSH levels. Everything seems to be normal. I asked my doctor if I can have my baby around my birthday. I just thought it would be awesome to share this date with my son. I asked about planned C-section. Now, before you crucify me of thinking about planned C-section, just know that I have considered my situation. I know the risk. Like any other surgery, it has risk. All of the ways of delivering a baby has pros and cons. It just really depends on you. It depends on the mom. It depends on the situation of the baby and the health of the mother. My concern about this point is weighing the risk of letting my baby stay on my belly for too long or taking him out too soon. That's why I asked for a planned C-section. I'm aware that in pregnancy at around 40 weeks onward, the mother's placenta starts failing. So I was afraid that that would happen to me. As a mom, as a new mom, as a first-time mom, I have a lot of concerns, and I believe that it is a normal thing. It was really crucial for me that I trust my doctor. That's why I asked about normal delivery, the C-section thing, should I get the epidural or not. Everything I discussed with my doctor. Pregnancy indeed is a very, very personal thing. Even parenting, it is just sad that women get unnecessary judgments from other women just because her beliefs are different. I remember during our hospital tour, this is out of the topic, which is the membrane sweeping, I just had to mention it. But during our hospital tour, I mentioned something about C-section, and then there's this pregnant lady also. She had the audacity to judge me just because I mentioned the possibility of me getting a C-section. because obviously she planned to do a natural birth. The nurse, also my coach, I know her because she was teaching me the proper techniques of breathing. She answered back to this lady, is a nurse. She is a pro when it comes to breathing techniques, but the labor for her is just different. The way her body reacts to labor is just different. So for her 3 babies, although she is a nurse and she is also a pro at that breathing technique, she had 3 planned C-sections. She tried it at first, but she said that she can't handle it. That's why her doctor decided to do the C-section on her. For her 2nd and 3rd baby, it's now a planned C-section. Back to my questions about the cesarean. If my body was ready for it and my doctor allowed me to undergo CS, he will be born on my birthday, exact date, and he will be, I think, 39 weeks and 3 days. Some doctors would allow this because I've reached 39-week gestation. However, my doctor didn't because he checked me down there and I was still close. My body is not ready for it. My cervix is not open. But I think that his reason why he wanted to wait a little bit longer is because I was not high risk. So during this visit, he opened up about membrane sweeping. What is membrane sweeping? This technique involves gently lifting the amniotic sac or the fetal membrane. This method is actually offered in the later part of pregnancy, which is timely for my situation. I was 39 weeks when I had my first membrane sweeping. Membrane sweeping or stripping reduces your chances of pregnancy extending into 41 or 42 weeks. Before I said yes to him, I asked a lot of questions, and my doctor was kind enough to walk me through the process, to explain to me what will happen. I also made sure that when I say yes, this process won't harm my baby. And my doctor said that it won't, so I did let him do the membrane sweeping. So what my doctor did was he inserted a gloved finger through my cervical canal and used a sweeping motion like this to separate the membrane from the cervix. So at this point, I was close, so when he did that, it was painful. I'm just demonstrating this, but the sweeping motion that he did releases prostaglandins, which are chemicals that help soften and open the cervix for delivery. I remember feeling pressure, feeling the pain. Personally, this method is really painful. This is actually more painful for me compared to when I had my first pap smear. The procedure lasted more than a minute and I was in pain. I wasn't prepared for it, but I was trying to concentrate on my breathing because I can feel that my doctor's fingers are like really getting down there, like getting deeper. After like a minute or something, he's done. I saw that there was blood and I felt cramping the whole entire day. Before I went home, my doctor told me to observe what I feel that day and to call him for any concerns. After my checkup, I spent the whole entire day just relaxing. And also I remembered I used pads that day as well as the next day because I was bleeding and I had a little bit of cramps. After 2 days of my first experience of membrane stripping, I stopped bleeding and the cramping disappeared. I wasn't really worried because I didn't feel anything weird, but most importantly, my baby's movements are still there. I was actually really paying attention to that. Few days after that visit was my birthday. I remember I didn't celebrate it at all. I was just waiting for my baby to come. I was waiting for any contractions that day. Obviously, it didn't happen. Fast forward, here comes my 40-week checkup. September 25th was my due date. Still nothing. I'm still so pregnant. My doctor mentioned to me the possibility of inducing me after 41 weeks. So on this visit, we did the same thing. They checked my urine, my blood pressure, my baby, his heartbeat. I saw him moving. What else? Everything was fine. So for the second time around, my doctor did the membrane sweeping. Sweeping? By the way, if I haven't mentioned it yet, membrane sweeping is not something that works 100% for everyone all the time. Even if I know that it may or may not work for me, I was really hoping that this time it works because I don't want to go in the hospital in the Induce, or I don't want to keep my baby for too long. I'm scared. I get more anxious. I get more worried about my baby. So I just want it to be over with. I want him beside me. I want to see him. I want to be with him. That kind of feeling, you know. So there you go. I don't want to be induced. I heard it's more painful than membrane sweeping. So I was really hoping, I was praying that this works. So this time when my doctor checked me, my cervix was kind of like open. During my second membrane sweeping, I was more comfortable with the method, with the swiping. After the procedure, a lot of blood came out this time. I mean a lot. I had to wear pads right away. And we went home. This checkup, I did this checkup early in the morning. This is the thing that I love to do. Every time I see my doctor, I just make sure that I go there at 8 in the morning. So after that morning, I did the same thing. I relaxed the whole day. That afternoon, my husband and I decided to go for a walk around the neighborhood. I got super excited because everyone is busy decorating for Halloween. And that afternoon, I remember around 4 or 5 p.m. I started to feel contraction. Well, by the time I thought it was just pain from, you know, my body's reaction from the membrane sweeping, but actually it was contraction. I used my app, the contraction app, and the pattern, it was somewhat regular. And there you go, membrane sweeping really did work for me, and I was really happy.